Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I've got Ashley St.Angelo with me. Hello. We will get to your story and you can we're I've been down here for like the last 40 minutes going through document after document after craziness.
Right.
And I want everyone to get this story. Now, normally this mama is love and light. I am here for just positivity. Um but when you come across a story that is so wild and crazy and egregious for no reason, I definitely feel like we need to have a dialogue about this, okay, just for a hot minute. So, first off, I got to thank Habitat for Humanity. They are our sponsors. And if you are looking to reduce, reuse your footprint, they have a demo team. This is absolutely free. So, if you're working on something in your house and you're like, oh, we're getting new cabinets, we're getting a new this, they will come in. They will take all your old cabinets, they will resell them so that they can build more homes. Because, quite frankly, we don't have enough of them here on Cape Cod to house the people that we need to work here. So definitely call Habitat for Humanity, 508-394-6400. They'll uninstall, they'll remove it. It's all for free. We love Habitat for Humanity. So thank you guys very much for all that you do. Coming up this weekend, I'm going to be over at Quench Training Fitness. It is a women's gym. However, this is a co-ed or whatever it is that you are gym. So book your appointment. Come on in. I'm going to be live DJing 4 different things. We're raising money for breast cancer. Cancer picked the wrong girl over here. Thank you guys very much for my mug. Thank you, Jill, for sending it in. I'm using it this morning. Good morning, Kai. Good morning, Lynn. So, um, here we are. I'm sitting next to Ashley. You've been through fire for the last 3 years.
But like you said, you do a lot of positivity. This story ended up positive in the end.
Well, that's exactly it. Your story does end up positive because you're sitting next to me and you're able to talk about it still,
Right.
and you're still here,
Yes.
which I'm so thankful for.
Right. There's a
So,
lot of great support for anybody that has suicidal issues. There is tons of support out there. Don't give up. Never give up.
this basically boils down to bullying,
Yes.
to a situation like honestly, it's still the bullying. Do
Yes.
you feel like that's where it all began? I mean, with your divorce, with your transition, with like where do you want to start here? Are we going to start in 2020? Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, everybody. I filed divorce from my ex-wife. I don't know how much of the situation you want me to go
Well,
into.
no, I mean, honestly, just kind of lay the story out for everyone else that is watching at home that knows nothing about what you've been through for the last 3 years. And I mean, I'm just giving you the platform to be able to say from your side and from everybody else out there, there's always 3 sides to the story: yours, the truth, and the other person's. But this is way bigger than that. I feel like you've had really a horrible time. It's hard enough to live, period, right now. But
Right.
given the amount of paperwork and documentation, and as I'm watching you unfold the last 3 years of your life with this email and that video and this and that. Good morning, Seth. We've got Ashley St. Angelo with us, who reached out to me a few weeks ago because you were finally free of
Right.
your 3 year battle
Of hell.
of hell with Turtleboy.
Right.
You are not the first person that I know that has been victimized by this
That
human.
is the word. That is more than the
Um,
word. Yes.
yes, I understand that there is journalism. Yes, I understand that there is free speech. But when it rises to the point of manufactured evidence,
Yes.
when it rises to systematically abusing someone for what you feel is your crusade for righteousness,
And profit.
but that's what it boils down to.
Right.
It boils down to a layer of narcissism and fame seeking to the point where now, okay, you've got this base level of a funny idea. Because that's what I remember from original Turtle Boy stuff was he would get people to send him in stuff about people, and
Right.
then he would exploit these people, not necessarily, but I mean honestly making it worse. You're exacerbating an already big issue.
There was a girl, I'm not sure of her name. I'm not gonna mention her name, but
Yeah.
there was a girl that he did a story on. She was a former state trooper. He ended up manipulating the girl into a sexual relationship. Um, and he wanted to dump his wife and move in with his wife. This former state trooper. It's all manipulation. It's all control. It's all power. But in the end result, it's also about money.
Well, that's it.
Turtle Boy is all about
It's
money.
clicks, it's about popularity. I feel like, and this is a really good conversation to have with anybody in your life and also our children about social media.
Absolutely, bullying and harassment on social media is out of control.
Yeah, this was not this is Throwback Thursday. We're talking. I had my post this morning. Like, do you remember your childhood phone number? Do you remember when we had landlines? Do you remember when you faced your bully every single day at school and then you went home and you got a break of it? Well,
Right?
we don't get a break of it anymore. Our
No.
kids are constantly, systematically, all day long, having to deal with other people when they're not liked or
Right.
something about them is different or they are just not the societal norm.
Right.
And I really feel like this was a giant case of cyberbullying for you
Correct.
that turned into actual bullying. Actually went to jail.
I went to the ACI overnight. Um, long story. The
Started in
past,
2020.
I
We've got
filed.
COVID. You're going through a divorce.
Right.
Your ex, for whatever reason, gets hooked up with this person that thinks, okay, I'm gonna make a mockery of you. And do you think it was because you were trans? Was it your bad marriage? Was it just finger pointing? Do you feel
I
like
think it was all little bits and
all of
pieces of
that?
everything. Yeah.
Like everybody's feelings are all up in this, so let's muddy the waters even more
Right.
and make my ex pay for making me mad.
Right. My
I
ex-wife.
don't know any of the situation. I'm just
We're gonna go into.
spitballing. This is me as an outsider after I digested all of your life in a manila folder,
Right.
trying to put the pieces together of this crazy puzzle.
I filed for divorce for my ex-wife.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, but the biggest and the most important reason was the protection of my children.
Mhm.
And my wife, and I believe my daughter's 49-year-old boyfriend at the time. And you can't blame my daughter for having a 49-year-old boyfriend when she was, what's that word? Groomed
Ugh,
by this guy.
sorry.
With my ex wife's permission, she had a relationship. Can't blame my daughter because, she was allowed. It was
She was a
groomed.
child.
Right. She didn't have the heart to understand. She didn't have the mindset to
She
understand
was
that she shouldn't be
15.
with a 49-year-old guy. Definitely
15.
cannot blame my daughter, and I love her to pieces, but I want to protect her.
You just saw my 17-year-old having a meltdown because she slipped. Like,
Turtle Boy got a hold of this story. I don't know how he got a hold of this story, but Turtle Boy got a hold of this story, and my ex-wife decided to cry abuse. Now, there's a lot of tactics in divorce, and people try this
and
her
careful. I
abuse
don't like
thing.
cry abuse, but she decided to say that she was abused.
Right.
Whether it was real, how she felt, fabric. I cannot speak to the mind of your ex-wife.
I can, but I'm just saying.
Yes, you can.
I'm just saying she cried abuse, and she complained that it was because I was beating on her. I've never been arrested. I've got a clean criminal history. I've never been charged with abuse.
At this
No,
point.
I have been charged with abuse in the past, and it was all thrown out in cases dismissed because it never happened.
Okay.
So let's keep everything
We're
honest.
being upfront.
Everything's honest. Turtle Boy got involved in this story, and my ex-wife cried abuse. She claimed all kinds of malicious things in court, which every time we went to court, her lies got proven to the judge by documentation, whether from doctors, counselors, whomever. Turtle Boy got a hold of it. He left me a voicemail asking
Which
if
I heard that voicemail, and it was my heart broke for you when I listened to that because it wasn't. It was so aggressive
right,
and so just I want to say when you're exercising your free speech to people, agitation and gaslighting is
right,
not free speech.
right.
When you poke a bear and it eats you, hello, you poke the bear.
Well,
Leave people alone. So you got that voicemail.
that voicemail, he called to ask if I'm willing to go on his blog, which I never heard of before at that point. go on his blog so I can, how did he say it?
Oh, fill your time when you're not abusing people.
Fill my time when I'm not abusing my children. Yes. So after that, I got nervous. I didn't go on his blog. I
Why
didn't.
would you want to go on that blog? That was not an open. That was him saying that he invited you and you didn't show,
Right.
which I don't like.
After that, I kept sending him proof that I wasn't guilty of the things my ex-wife was claiming. I kept sending him documentation after documentation, but he used that documentation against me. He didn't show his public what was in there. He didn't show the truth.
Well,
He
because you can frame a story to look any which way you want the story to look
he
when you
did.
leave out things
He
and then
manipulated
add
it.
things.
He manipulated the story.
Yes.
So instead of showing the truth, he made me out to look like a worthless animal. I don't know how to what we can say here or not, but he made me look like a POS.
That's fine.
And I kept sending him more things to prove I wasn't guilty, but he just kept flipping it to make him look good. In the end result, he did this story for money. Um,
Well, that's what he does for a living.
I
That's if there's no salacious crazy going on,
right,
he's not gonna, get clicks. He's not gonna get people to go to the website. So
right,
you're always in search of crazier and crazier. Like that's the build right there.
right.
Like I got something a little crazy. Everybody wanted to know what's going on. Then moved on to the next one, got a little crazy. All right. Well, now I'm sitting. Now everybody wants this from me. I got to give the people what they want.
Right.
Right.
No, absolutely. And that's
Good morning, Lauren.
if you're not doing that, you're not making money in his eyes.
But that's exactly it.
Right.
So, he sees your story as something, all right, well, we're gonna have some fun with this one.
Oh yeah.
Instead of like you're a personal victim. Not only you go, it's COVID, I'm going through a divorce. Now I've got this crazy blogger that wants to make me look even more insane.
Right. So I went to court in Rhode Island. I filed a restraining order in Rhode Island. Instead of him showing up, now he wasn't served because he either avoided the sheriffs or whatever. At this point, he wasn't served. He knew the court case was in January 25th. Instead of showing up for that court case that he bragged about on his videos, instead of showing up for court to defend himself or, fight against me regarding why the restraining order in Rhode Island should be placed, he went and just he went to Leominster, Mass, and filed one of his own on the day he was supposed to appear in my case. So he blew off my case. The Rhode Island judge ended up having to have the Rhode Island sheriff serve him at his home. The Rhode Island sheriffs had to go to Holden, Mass, where he lives, and serve him at his home because the local police refused to help.
I do want to make mention our friend Dawn, who is a local here, said that Turtleboy wrote a piece on her when I spoke out on his Facebook post about my son's transphobic boss. In my opinion, the article made him look much worse than he was trying to make me look. So I just didn't give it any attention. But if we're being honest, it's basically a hate crime and cyberbullying mixed all together.
Right.
And thank you very much, Don. This is, you are not the first person or the second person or the 15th person that I know that has been personally victimized by this human being for clicks and cyberbullying.
And this is absolutely all hate crimes. And this is not I'm not one of the first transgender stories. There's another person, it was a homeless person he completely destroyed. Anyway, so we get the case up in Fitchburg, Mass. I show up. Turtleboy manufactured.
So, by the way, you live in Rhode Island.
I do live in Rhode Island.
So you're having to take time. How do you even have a job? Like, how do you continue your day when you're busy, like defending yourself and trying to find evidence to defend yourself? Now you got to go to court 2 hours away from where you live.
Right.
So that's 4-hour day right there. Gas money, food. How do I keep a job? Like, this is ridiculous.
I'm not working. I am disabled.
This is ridiculous.
I'm disabled for many reasons, which Turtleboy said that I forget what he claimed.
Listen, we're not here to judge anything that you're going through. Yeah.
And I'm disabled for many physical reasons I'm not going to get into. That's my personal business. But, being disabled and I fixed income, having to travel to Holden, having to pay for paperwork, having to go to court, and having to do all this at Turtleboy's fun, for him to
entertainment.
For his entertainment.
Yeah.
Not because I did anything at all wrong, as I've shown you in the documents.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's upsetting to me the most is the voicemail that you played for me, the one that was used to arrest you.
but
Now, Ashley went to jail, went to the ACI, arrested for a voicemail that was supposedly you threatening him.
threatening his ex-wife. Oh no, it was a voicemail left to his wife's job.
Like, it's the weirdest thing.
But you heard the voicemail.
Yeah,
You know my voice.
right.
Was that my voice?
That definitely was not your voice. It
Not
was a
even
Western
close.
Mass voice. Actually, a voice I've heard on the radio before, I feel like.
Yes.
And I'm just going to leave it that as a former
And there's
on the dial radio lady, I definitely recognize this voice.
And there's many people said the
And
same
I can,
voice.
I can also attest that I've been called by other radio stations to do prank phone calls, to do stuff like that.
Prank phone calls can be fun if it's the right situation.
Well, like well, that's it. You cannot actually prank people.
No.
So we would call other radio people and manufacture these fake phone calls for these jam scams, these whatever.
Right. Those
like
are
it was just purely entertaining.
Right.
And it was all fake anyway. We weren't calling real people, we were calling other radio people.
Right.
So we have been doing voiceover work in that fashion for many, many years. This is not new. But when I heard that, I was like, that is definitely not you. And also not real. And for someone to be able to get you arrested with that as a piece of evidence is scary.
Right.
That's scary. You were just moving in. You moved in with your former in-laws.
Right. I'm living.
And here you are, like trying to move on with my life. I'm going through a divorce. Right. I like just transitioned. Like, this is my life. I'm trying to be left alone and get arrested.
Right. I divorced my ex-wife, and the love between me, my kids, with my mother-in-law, my former mother-in-law, and my former father-in-law, who are the greatest people in the world. You love them. You love them to pieces.
This is crazy to me.
My ex-wife did everything she could to stop us from moving in with my former in-laws. It wasn't about us living there. It was about leaving us homeless, including her son. But the long story with that is me and my in-laws and my children have the greatest relationship in the world.
Good.
I wish I could have had that with my parents. I never did. But I love them to pieces. They're fantastic people.
Good. And you're having a better relationship with your children also right now.
I have all 3 children in my life. And
that's wonderful.
I couldn't ask for anything more.
See, so we're focusing on those positive things right now. So you are dealing with all of this. You get the fake now. Not only is you're arrested, you're released.
I went to
more manufactured evidence starts popping up. Fake Facebook pages.
I went to the ACI, the men's prison, as a transgender person.
Wrap your brain around that space right there for just a second. What that trauma does to someone.
Again, I'm going to tell you, there is help out there. While I was in the ACI, I was left in a cell by myself.
And Lauren says family definitely does not have to be blood. So she's very glad that you've got your family.
That's
and support.
I was left in a cell in the men's prison as a trans woman. And I'm going to be honest with you. I had an idea, a very positive idea of how I could commit suicide at the ACI. I wanted to die at that point, and nothing was going to stop me.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. All over Turtleboy.
All over something that's not real, though. That's what's truly upsetting.
All this evidence was manufactured. We'll get into that, but all of this evidence was manufactured. It was posted on his blog by people that know about the case, that were in court, and that know about the evidence, that it was manufactured. And this was all about fun.
Good morning, Wendy, Jen, Junior, Jessica. We're talking to Ashley right now, talking about her victim story. Her last 3 years has been an absolute blur of trying to defend yourself. And can we just get a shout out for the court-appointed attorney?
Christopher Walton out of Fitchburg, Mass. is a 10-star gold, nothing better than the best attorney.
Do you think that you would be where you are right now if it was not for this human being that you fell into your life, was literally assigned your case, and they're like, oh boy, this is a lot. It's a lot.
At that point, I trusted nobody in the world.
Why would you?
I couldn't trust anybody.
Why would you?
I didn't know this guy, but this guy has been working effortlessly, hard as hell, to make sure all this evidence that we have from Turtleboy to prove it was all manufactured.
Yeah.
This guy had his investigators working. He had everybody working. Christopher Walton, you are a gold star attorney. My divorce attorney, her name is Geraldine Cook out of Coventry, Rhode Island. Same thing. She worked and fought like hell for me. She knew that I was low income. She knew I didn't have much. She took payment plans. She did everything, but she made sure that the proof, everything was shown in court.
Yeah.
My ex-wife claimed my ex-wife claimed in our divorce that I was at my daughter's gynecological exams, and I sat in the exams and watched my daughter have a gynecological exam. My divorce lawyer got a letter from our doctor, the children's doctor, showing that that never happened. My doctor wouldn't even allow it. My ex-wife pulled everything she could.
This is divorce definitely brings out the absolute gross worst side of humanity. It just does.
Yes and
It
no.
gets ugly and nasty.
Yes and no.
That doesn't sound great.
I never attacked my ex-wife. I never, bothered her. I never went. Everything we did was in court, and after that, I didn't want no contact
Good.
with her. So I didn't antagonize on my side.
Yep.
I just had to keep defending all of these lies over and over and over again, which I'm gonna tell you,
it's not
puts
like
a lot
you
of stress on you, and it breaks you at some point. You're just sitting there crying, broken, because you have to keep defending more and more lies. But when Turtleboy,
years.
yes,
And
years-
now it's public. Now it's on social. So anytime you would post on social, no matter what it was, he would respond on your social with a link to his show
every
talking
time
about you,
I
his
tried-
article talking about you.
and it had nothing to do with him. When I post replies about things, some forever pages and whatever. I post replies about things that are good,
Yeah.
and he stalks me and puts his Turtleboy story about me, links to him underneath, 3 different links on each one, and he stalked me throughout this entire time. He never let go. He kept stalking me.
And you and I have been friends for years socially.
Right.
But you had reached out to me about 3 weeks ago because you finally the culmination, you went to court finally after Lord knows, I don't even know how many hours of time, man hours, arrests,
Probably over
money,
60 hours of just court hearings.
and 60 hours of court hearings. How much money have you personally spent?
Between travel and everything
Yeah.
else. How much money have I spent?
Defending
couldn't even
yourself
imagine.
for doing nothing,
I couldn't even
for existing.
Right. I couldn't even tell you how. It's a lot. On a fixed income, it's a lot.
Yeah. So you've got all of this going on in your life. You finally get clear. The judge says this is all lies. This is not real. This is not
That
real.
was
This
the
is
Rhode
not
Island
real.
case in the beginning. It felt good when I was able to prove everything in Rhode Island. It felt good to know that the truth was out.
Right. You think you're done
Going back and forth to Massachusetts for these fake charges.
because this
Christopher
is
Walton-
federal, right?
This was state. This is Massachusetts, not federal. I don't believe it was federal. It was Fitchburg District Court. So
Okay.
it was
So
state.
Rhode Island, now Massachusetts.
Right. Chris proved that the voicemail wasn't mine. Like I said, many people told me they know who that voicemail was from. I will not say. Because Turtleboy was not happy that I wasn't extraditable for that voicemail. He made a video on one day saying that, he's going to manufacture evidence against me to get me brought extraditable to Massachusetts. The email that he manufactured was a former follower, and the email was from the initials of the email address was from a former story where the people used to live as the address. He manufactured that clear as day.
Like,
My
I'm
lawyer proved it.
exhausted. I'm a very busy person. I am thoroughly exhausted by going through
Yeah.
the amount of people that had to be contacted, lies that had to be put out, the depth of the cover up to manufacturing fake evidence against someone that honestly, when it comes down to the end of the day, you and Aidan have nothing to do with each other.
Never. I never would.
There's no reason for you to even talk to each other.
Even if he changed his life and went to God and went the straight way, I would still never want nothing to do with him.
No, you don't. It doesn't even matter. Like, mind your business. You stay on your side, I'll stay on my side.
Right.
You even offered that option.
Like,
let's put this down. You're proven wrong. You've lied to me. I'm not going to go after you. And then he exacerbated it more videos.
he went after Judge. Let me rephrase that.
This, by the way, is a human that was arrested last week. So we'll get to that also.
when I went for my original restraining order case against Aidan in Rhode Island, the judge offered him a deal. Leave everything alone. She knew that she saw some of the evidence I had. She knew that, he was destroying me.
Yeah.
Um, his conduct to the court clerk was so abusive that the Judge Darrigan out of Rhode Island.
Well, I feel like you're already showing a level of disrespect when you feel like you're on the righteous side. There is mob mentality. There is, I get 4,000 gazillion followers, so they're all going to support me, and I know I'm in the right.
Judge Darrigan out of Rhode Island, again, I had no faith in anybody. She showed me that faith can be held by public figures. She offered him, leave me alone, take down the blogs, leave me alone, and we won't have to move on with anything. Nothing down the road, nothing ever. Well, he was agreeing to that in court, and he absolutely, if I could get video, I'd show it to you all day long. He was agreeing to, all right, we'll just leave it alone. And then as soon as he leaves, he hits the road and goes on his videos or whatever he does,
and immediately goes
and
back
then
to
says,
bullying.
"Oh, I'm not doing that." No, and then he started to go into the judge. That judge, from what I understand, she's dealt with some pretty serious cases.
Mm-hmm.
She is a very upfront, honest judge. She's a judge.
But you're wasting the court's time. You just made a case up for nothing. Like, this
Right.
is nonsense.
Right.
Good morning, Serafina, Jamie, Patrick. Thank you for joining us. So you're here with new manufactured evidence. Now it's videos. Now he's claiming that you're attacking him.
Right. But back to
stalking him.
Right. After the voicemail that you heard was left, he went on a video and he said, that he's going to manufacture evidence next day. Next day, that manufactured evidence comes out. And it was all regarding people that he had to do with in the past. No, not for nothing. If you're going to manufacture evidence, make sure it's not linkable back to you directly. But that's
was sloppy.
That's what made the case extraditable. So he had me arrested in Rhode Island. Rhode Island held me at the ACI on a $200 bail. I got out the next morning. I went to Fitchburg, Mass. I turned myself in, and I dealt with the case since then. Now, I'm not bothering Aidan. I haven't dealt with that guy because he's nuts, in my opinion. He's nuts. More of a psychopath, in my opinion, if you will. He's nuts. But I left him alone. I'm dealing with this court case now for the next 2 years, and
was something that never happened.
Something that I never did. I had nothing to do with, and he just kept going. He wouldn't leave me alone. Now I'm dealing with these court cases, and there's a lot of continuances because of COVID. It was more nuts.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And
but that's like dragging on. Imagine if you're every single day, this is like hanging over your head, and you're having to deal with all of this.
And your mindset is, how do I prove I'm not guilty? How do I prove, as my ex-wife claimed, I beat my kids or I beat her? How do I prove? And I had to keep going day by day. My mind couldn't be on just my daughter being safe. I had my son living with me the entire time. I had DCYF back and forth. I had a DCYF case manager who I actually called because
because now you're in the system. So now it's, good morning, Dan. Thanks for joining us. It was a very difficult conversation this morning. And it basically boils down to cyberbullying. It just that mob mentality. We're talking about Turtleboy Sports had done a expose on you that wouldn't end.
DCYF ended up getting, I think, like 70, 80 calls in a day. But Turtleboy keeps telling people on his videos, his fans, he keeps telling them that he's called DCYF on me. He's purposely going out of his way to make my life a living hell. He had his fans calling DCYF on me for something that I never did. The caseworkers, not very friendly. I got a hold of a supervisor. The supervisor actually called the doctors, the schools, the counselors, everybody involved in our lives in the past. And the one thing they found out was I was the only parent in my children's lives. I was the only one that's been there for my children. I'm the only one that supported my children. That's what the DCYF case manager found.
You're in a safe space here. No one's asking you to defend yourself or your goodness.
I'm just explaining.
I just want...
When you have a problem with DCYF, if the caseworkers are not... if they're not living up to their duties, they're being disrespectful or whatever, you can always go to a case manager, supervisors. You can always go above the DCYF workers' heads, which I recommend. Whether the DCYF, DCF in
But
Massachusetts
these are
work with.
being put into your life for no reason.
This is
These,
more torment that was ruining me and bringing me
yeah,
down. Okay. And the end result, DCYF cleared me.
of
I
course,
never
of
got
course.
charged in East Providence for any kind of abuse or anything related to my divorce. The whole thing is because I was divorcing my ex-wife in protection of my children. One of the many reasons, but the main reason is to protect my children. Um, uh, Now, going through this whole court thing, Turtleboy Aidan Kearney has followed and stalked me with fake emails accounts, fake Facebook pages, fake everything, putting his links to his video about me.
Why do you continue to be on social media?
Me, because I look for the funny things in life. I look for good laughs. I love, cartoon pictures, and it brings me happiness.
Yeah.
I don't use, well, up until now, I've never used social media for any kind of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer, the good things in life.
Yeah.
Um, on days that I'm down, I like watching videos, just the funny
Right. We all
videos.
like a good cat video.
My
Funny
daughter,
memes,
my daughter loves
silly
the dog
things.
videos. Yeah. But for me, it was about bringing me up. Social media is about bringing me up. But I also have a close group of friends.
Okay.
I had to lock my Facebook page basically as hard as I can, lock it down to stop the death threats from coming in from
Yeah.
Turtleboy.
I'm sorry.
His followers kept sending me tons of death threats.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's not just him, it's the people that rapidly follow. And they are taking what he is saying as real and true and factual. And that's really difficult to deal with that mentality.
He's given out my address on one of his videos. He's given out my address, and there was a lot of violence towards my home,
Yeah.
including people that lived in my town.
Well, and that's what Lauren said. There definitely is always the three sides to the story. And I'm glad that you're like finding yourself in this positive space.
But one side, my story, Turtleboy and my ex's story, excuse me, I have the right side right here that I shown you.
Yeah.
My
Yep.
my daughter was my daughter was being manipulated into a relationship with a 49-year-old guy.
And that's where it started.
That's where the divorce came out. I wasn't allowing it, even though my ex-wife did. That's where everything started. But in this packet, I have a document from the police where my daughter stated that I'm not happy with her boyfriend. No,
Yeah.
I'm not happy with a 15-year-old and a 49-year-old guy.
But once again, here you are today.
But this is a document I've shown you as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm making that up.
No, I've seen it. I've seen all of the documents. Trust me, I was down here for 45 minutes. Like, how is this real life? How are you dealing with all of this? There are so many fake Facebook accounts. Oh, Don, he has so many fake Facebook accounts. Virginia, Susan, we're talking to Ashley. And you are now finally done. It's done. It's done for now.
For now, yes.
So you reached out to me and you're like, "Ah, I'm finally free of this. And I want other people to know that,
Fight back.
fight back. You're on the other side of this.
Do it
You're
the
in a
legal way.
positive space. You're
Absolutely.
minding your business. And then the following week, not even 4 days later, he gets arrested
Yeah. My case in Massachusetts
for antagonizing and threatening. And
the judge threw out all the fake emails.
yep.
When it wasn't just the judge, but the court threw out the fake emails.
Yeah.
It wasn't even presented to the jury because it was all manufactured. I ended up having to go to jury trial with 7 jurors, and the case I was found not guilty in court
Because you didn't do it.
I didn't do it. The voicemail wasn't nothing to do with me. It was all manufactured by Turtleboy just so he can have his fun making his money. A couple of his, however you collect the money, I don't know how that works.
Supporters.
No. The
Sponsors.
the page where you get money from.
Yep.
A couple of them got taken away because it was, I don't know how to explain this. They took the money away and gave it back to the people that gave it to him because they realized it wasn't an honest or whatever case may be.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something.
Well, because there's that freedom of speech. Once again, you want to support people to be able to live their true, authentic self, say what's really on their mind,
Right.
not be hindered from being able to say how you feel. Everybody wants that. However, when it infringes upon other people and it rises to the point where you're attacking other people, that's not free
That's
speech.
criminal.
Yeah, it's not okay.
But some of his followers, I'm going to be honest with you, some of his followers I do appreciate because they asked me what happened.
Yeah.
I was able to tell them, and some things I shouldn't probably have shown them, but I shown them to prove that it wasn't true.
Well, because you're in constant
I was
fight for yourself, for your life, for your ability to say, like, this is real. Am I real? Is this really happening?
right. It was a constant fear of violence, constant fear of
And Don said,
threats.
thank you for protecting your daughter, Ashley. There are things that sometimes people don't like, and you have to make hard decisions in life. But where you're being arrested for something that is fake, like, this is just wild.
I
The
was
whole
being
story is just
arrested.
wild.
I was being arrested in the end result for trying to protect my daughter.
Yeah.
I went through this misery for my children. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'll do it again today if I have to. You know,
Well, let's just hope that, he's going to have to deal with his situation right now
right,
and have to come forward and face whatever it is that it's not even for you.
right.
It's a whole nother case with a whole nother can of worms. I have to think just in this conversation right now, 3 other people that have said that they have had issues before with this person. There has to be more.
But the funny thing with Turtleboy is the day of my trial, the actual trial, he was there to testify. He perjured himself in court, of course. And as soon as he left the courthouse, he went on video. Oh, I testified against Ashley today, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He never posted the not guilty. He wouldn't admit that he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go on his blog and say, Ashley was found not guilty. Maybe blow a fit over it just to make some more money. I don't understand why he didn't. People were posting that knew the case that it was because he manufactured the evidence. I was found not guilty because I wasn't guilty that he manufactured the evidence. All of a sudden, those comments were deleted. It's funny how that happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
In my opinion, I felt like he was a terrorist towards me. And that's how I felt the entire time. Like he was an absolute terrorist, encouraging others to do the crimes for him. But he's already done enough crimes himself towards me, so it didn't
I don't know
matter
about
anymore.
that. There is a side for everything.
Right. There were people that was on his that listened to his blog, and I've got death threats and messages from people that was on his blog or whatever. And people actually came by the house to cause violence. So I'm just explaining that, in my opinion, from what I've witnessed, he encourages other people to cause the violence so he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He's too lazy, in my opinion, to drive from Holden, Mass to Rhode Island to do anything himself anyway.
No, we're going to go with love and light this morning. Positivity. You're on the other side of this. You've got your family with you. You're living your life right now.
My life is
and hopefully
fantastic.
hopefully we're past this.
My life is fantastic.
I appreciate you sharing your story. And I want people that if you also feel like this sort of thing happened to you, to reach out for you as a resource.
Absolutely.
To reach out to you for support.
My children now have the best life. My kids are in my life. Everything can get better over time. Unfortunately, it's a fight, but everything can get better.
Yeah.
If you put the effort into it, your life can be fantastic. My life has been so much better since this case is over. My life has been fantastic. It took a huge load and a weight off me that you'd never want to feel. But I'm grateful. But I'm also grateful to you for getting the story out so people know, the right thing to do is fight. Don't antagonize your bully, whoever it may be, especially Turtleboy. Don't antagonize. Don't communicate back with him. If he tries to get a hold of you to torment or ruin your life, leave it be. But fight for your right. Use attorneys, court systems. He manufactures evidence. So if you need proof of that, if you're going to a hearing in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, I've got all the proof in the world that he manufactures evidence, and I'll go to court for
There's
you.
a lot of stuff right there. I'll tell you that right now. Thank you, everyone, for watching Ashley and I this morning. I know it's very, very difficult. I feel very conflicted about all of everything that's going on. But when I see bad journalism, it makes me upset. And when I see people being victimized, it makes me upset. And I feel like it just needs to be talked about a little bit more. Once again, I apologize if you feel a little, off this morning and you feel conflicted this morning. We usually talk about super positive stuff in the community and we
This
do, but
is
this
super
is,
positive.
that's it. We're moving on. We're past this. Stand up for yourself, and cyberbullying is a serious thing.
Making sure you can prove everything is the
I'm
entitled
sorry you've
change.
had to live like that. I can't imagine having
But
to like show my daily steps and my
but, every,
log on everything that I've done all for the last 3 years.
but everything I've shown you,
I do have notebooks though.
I have what do you call those? The drawers there.
Yeah.
File cabinets. I
That's
don't
it.
have
I'm sure
notebooks.
you do. I'm sure you have to now.
But everything I
A little bit of
showed you,
paranoia.
oh, it's a lot of paranoia, and it makes you sick. There's days you don't eat for 4 or 5 days on end. You end up throwing up instead. But everything I told you,
Well, you're here and you're in my studio today, Ashley. So you're doing okay.
everything I told you,
you're all right.
everything I told you, and everything you've seen, everything I've told your followers is 100% true in your opinion.
For everything that you've shown me, I've seen has been corroborated.
Absolutely, and that's the way
I don't know what I don't know.
When you deal with a bully, no matter who it is, when you deal with a bully and they're trying to pull something like this, make sure you can prove everything. And half the battle nowadays is when you're accused of with my ex-wife again in a divorce.
Let it go.
If you're being accused of
Love and
something
light.
in a divorce, know that there's always cameras there. So if they claim you were here, there's cameras everywhere nowadays. You can't hide no more. There's nothing you can do to hide. So you can get proof of cameras to prove. Just defend yourselves. If you're in a bad situation, always make sure you can defend yourself.
Thanks
That's
for
the
coming
most
on with
important
us
key.
this morning, Ashley.
I
Everybody,
appreciate everything.
have a good day.
Thank
Tomorrow
you
is
all.
Friday. We're going to have a fun show. We got a fun weekend. It's Halloween weekend, and there are parties and celebrations and fun things all weekend long. We will talk about them all tomorrow. I forget who I have on the show tomorrow, but I know it is going to be light. I promise you. Today was a bit heavy. It's not what our normal fanfare is, but I've got we got JT, Mr. Positivity, on the show with us tomorrow.
Maybe I'll stop by again tomorrow.
For everyone, we thank you for watching.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a good day. Man, you did it though. It's done.
Yep. You are fantastic.